Okay, this is the lesson video for found object sculpture. Your objective for this project is you're going to be using items found in your home to create two sculptures on the floor by arranging these items. One sculpture will be a color wheel assignment, the other will be a landscape. Only photographs will be uploaded, and you'll need to put back the items when you're done. So here are two examples of the color wheel project, okay? Basically, you're just gonna go around the house, kind of scavenger hunt style, and you're gonna find items that are the same colors as the sections in a color wheel, and you're going to arrange those on the floor and take a photograph of them, just like these two examples, okay? As for the landscape project, landscape portion of this project, you are gonna be taking laundry items like blankets, sheets, clothing, towels, anything that you've got laying around in your house that you can then mold and form into a landscape, just like the examples shown. Here's a few more examples, okay? So the notes for this project, we've got notes and vocabulary, we've got basic sculpture vocabulary, and then we're going to go down and talk a little bit about the subject matter for your landscape. Because landscape might be a new term you guys are not familiar with, so I want to make sure that we go over that. All right, so sculpture, basic sculpture vocabulary, we've got three-dimensional, that means not flat, having front, back, top, bottom, and two sides. For example, squares are two-dimensional, okay, they're flat, something I draw on a piece of paper is a square. Okay, but cubes are three-dimensional, okay? It's got all the sides, okay? Sculpture in the round is sculpture that can be viewed from all sides and has something interesting going on all sides. So, you know, think about a little statue or a little figurine, okay? It's a sculpture that has something going on every side of it. There's no like flat blank side, okay? Every side has something interesting to look at. Sculpture, let's see, base is a flat bottom added to a sculpture to help it stand on its own. So in the case of a sculpture like say, let me think, something that has a base like a lamp, okay? Your lamp has a flat bottom that it sits on, all right? That flat bottom is its base, all right? When we're talking about a sculpture, it would be something flat that I add to the bottom of the thing that I'm trying to showcase or the thing that I created that it's gonna help it stand on its own. Freestanding is a term we use for a sculpture that stands by itself. So if I pick it up, sit it down, it's not gonna fall over. It is freestanding. Armature are the bones of your sculpture. It's the inner structure that holds up the sculpture. So like if you think about armature as the bones of your sculpture, it's kind of like the skeletal system, all right? It's holding up the entire sculpture. Assemblage, this is adding things together to form a sculpture, which is exactly what you guys will be doing when creating these two items, okay? Subtractive is taking things away from a solid surface to form a sculpture. In this case, considered a carving, okay? A relief is a sculpture that projects from a flat surface and can be viewed from two sides. You guys are also making a relief sculpture, okay? All right, so the subject matter for this project is a landscape, all right? A landscape is a photograph or artwork that shows features of the land. So one of your designs or one of your sculptures is going to be a color wheel, which we went over in the painting project. You should know what a color wheel is. But a landscape is something that shows off features of the land. So that's what you're going to be making for your second sculpture. Your sculpture needs to include what's called a foreground, middle ground, and background. When we're talking about landscapes, we're talking about foreground being everything in the front or closer to the viewer. Middle ground is everything in the middle of the picture, and your background is everything in the back, furthest away from the viewer, all right? I've included a few examples of what landscapes are and a handy dandy little diagram to help you with foreground, middle ground, and background. As long as your picture has a sky, or your sculpture rather, has a sky, has something going on in the middle, and you've got something that's closest to the viewer, very close forward, that's going to be your foreground. You're good. Okay. Supplies that you'll need for this project. You're going to need some kind of bag, like a grocery bag, shopping bag, something like that. This is basically just to walk around your house and collect items. So you'll be able to put it back when you're finished. You're going to need found objects. So you're going to have to go around your house and you're going to have to find items that are the same colors as the items in the color wheel. So use random items like toys, food, hair items, nail polish, kitchen utensils, things like that. For the landscape, you'll use things like clothes, socks, blankets, towels, pencils, markers, things like that. Just depends on what you're going for. Make sure that you put these items back when you are all done photographing your work. Okay, step-by-step instructions. Number 1, you'll be making 2 found object sculptures. One will be a color wheel exercise, the other will be a landscape. There will be no video for this because it's pretty straightforward. I'm basically having you arrange items on the floor and photograph them, okay? Number 2 says, for the color wheel, use this diagram on the left-hand side as your guide to create something like the one on the right, okay? Begin by grabbing a bag of some kind, like a grocery bag or a lunch bag. Go around your house, find colored items that fit each color category. Use the bag to help you carry things. You may not use colored pencils, markers, or crayons exclusively. You can use them, you know, here and there in your sculpture, but I do not want the entire sculpture to be all crayons or all pencils or a mix of crayons and colored pencils, okay? Because it's kind of cheating, all right? And you may not have any inappropriate items laying in this sculpture, okay? Number 3, find an area of solid colored carpet, hardwood, countertop, or bathroom floor. If you have nothing solid colored, use a blanket or towel and then spread that out on the floor as your backdrop, okay? Number 4, arrange the items you found in a ring like the photo above. It should be arranged like the color wheel diagram. So don't make up your own thing. It should kind of have a gradual change from one color to the next, like a rainbow. So I wouldn't take the yellow and stick that right next to the purple because that doesn't make any sense. You want it to be where it is in the picture, okay? Let's see. Photograph it with a slip of paper that has your name on it. I want to be able to see your name. Now go put everything back, all right? Number 5, for the landscape, using the same bag, determine a direction for your landscape. Will it be a mountain scene, a desert? Will there be water, trees, clouds? What are you going to have in it? Go around the house and look for items like clothes, towels, blankets, and socks in the colors of that chosen land feature. So if it's water, find some blue things. If it's clouds, find some white things, okay? Gather those items in a bag, all right? Number 6, again, find a solid background to build your landscape on. Arrange your clothing pieces to resemble land features like the example below. Make sure your landscape has foreground, middle ground, and background, because that's what I'm looking for when I grade. Number 7, photograph your arrangement with a small slip of paper with your name on it in the shot. Now put everything away. Step number 8 says complete a critique sheet. As for grading, I will be looking for two sculptures here, okay? Out of 100 points, your color wheel is worth 30 points. I'm looking for color accuracy, I'm looking for arranged in order, and I'm looking for a clear photograph, okay? For the landscape, that's going to be 40 points of the grade. You have to have a foreground, middle ground, background, color accuracy, and clean arrangement. Like I need to be able to look at it and see what it is, okay? I shouldn't be looking at it going, is that sideways? What is that I'm looking at? I need to be able to know what it is. And then you're going to get 10 points for creativity, 10 points for craftsmanship, and 10 points for that final critique that you're filling out. All right. For submitting your work, number 1, put your name on a small slip of paper and lay it next to your sculptures. Number 2, photograph your color wheel and your landscape separately. Number 3, complete a critique sheet using either Kami, a Google Doc, or loose leaf paper. It's your call, as always. And number 4, upload all 3 photos to Google Classroom underneath project number 6 when you're ready to turn it in.